Welcome back. It's a $14 billion market that doesn't get much attention. The recreational vehicle market in the United States took a major hit over the past 2 years. But now improved sales and a slew of brand new manufacturers may be signaling that an RV rebound is on the way. With more on the story, Bloomberg's Jeff Green joins us. Jeff, a new car is a necessity for some, but an RV, it's completely discretionary. What's driving the demand?
Well, yeah, that's why this makes such a good indicator. This is something you don't have to have necessarily, and the demand is starting out where you'd expect it, at sort of the cheaper end, the travel trailer, not so much the million-dollar motorhomes flying off the lots, but an early indication is the fact that these $15,000 trailers, which go to sort of middle Americans, are starting to move, and people are starting to pay attention.
What's that telling us about Americans' discretionary income, or disposable income, if you will?
Well, if the past is any indication, it should be telling us that it's starting to free up a little. I was down in Elkhart, Indiana for a couple days, and people down there are starting to see the faintest glimmers of hope. And keep in mind, they've been sort of President Obama's poster child for economic hardship in the U.S. this year.
Yeah, we had a what was it, a Whirlpool factory down there? They laid off like 1,100 workers or something like that?
Yeah, and that's a little bit further away from there, but in Indiana, kind of in that part of the state.
What's the correlation between RV shipments and recessions?
Well, the past 4 recessions have perfectly correlated, going in and going out. And this one, going in, November of 2007, right before the recession, you started to see the shipments tank. And so that's sort of why we're looking at it this time. If those past 4 recessions and this one are any indication, we should be, based on that, starting to see things pick up a little bit.
Are we seeing a lot of new companies sprouting up?
Yeah, what happened was a lot of companies went bankrupt, more so than in the last couple downturns. There were 5 publicly traded companies going in. There's 2 now. And what happened is the executives and the resources that were left behind by these bankruptcies gave opportunities to entrepreneurs. They're smaller companies. You're not seeing, job for job replacement. These are entrepreneurs giving it a shot with new startups. But that's sort of where you get going on these kind of things.
Jeff, your research shows that there's a name that always catches our attention here, Warren Buffett. What's the relationship between Warren Buffett and the RV market?
Well, he has a company called Forest River, and they bought some of the assets of one of the companies that had been a big publicly traded player. That got a lot of people's attention as kind of a bet that there's some upside. And Fleetwood went bankrupt and was bought out by another private equity company not so long ago. The people down in Elkhart see that as positive news, because these guys are betting that as the cycle starts to come through, they bought in at the low point, and this will be a good investment going forward.
So let's get this. This is a snowball that, for our intents and purposes, is a good thing. People have this money to spend. They're buying the SUVs, which means they're traveling to different parts of the country. And perhaps these trips are more than just a couple of days, maybe going to national parks or to other scenic routes, which means they're spending money there as well. So it stands to reason that also means it's starting to help kickstart the economy.
Yeah, that seems to be what these people are seeing who are familiar with the industry. One of the guys just went on a 5,000-mile road trip hawking their products, their new product, and said, everywhere he went, he's seeing signs of people being able to get loans, and more importantly, people coming into the showrooms and actually applying for loans, which for the last year or so hadn't been happening. So everywhere they're looking, they see some reason to be at least starting to be optimistic. This is the very beginning, obviously, but it's a sign, if the past is any indication of what the future might be.
Bloomberg's Jeff Green joining us from our Detroit bureau. Jeff, thanks.